Hi, my name is Addie, and welcome to The Pulse. All right, today I am talking with one of the biggest rising stars in Nashville. She is from a town of just 300 people, and now she's touring the world, working with some of the biggest songwriters in the industry. Lainey Wilson, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's a good day.
Awesome. Not freezing to death?
Try not to. I literally open the door, let my dog run out, and then close it real quick. Let her back in. I'm like, that ain't my thing.
Is your dog? I don't know how your dog is, but mine's always like in, out, in, out. Gotta have access at all times. Can't just
girl. Yes, and she doesn't even need to use a bathroom. She just like, I want to go play.
Right.
I just need to like walk out there for a second.
Yeah, it's like,
But,
come on. All right.
She's spoiled rotten. She gets what she wants.
That's funny. All right, awesome. So first of all, I love your music. It's amazing. The only way I can describe it is just like warm and comfy. I don't know what it is. It just reminds me of like home somehow. It's so awesome.
Gosh. You know what? That's a huge compliment. That's the goal in the end, is to make people feel at home. And, everybody's welcome. It's that kind of thing. So that right there, I'll take that. Thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah, totally. It feels, I think you described it as something about familiar. Can you tell me that familiar?
Yes. Familiar but fresh.
Yes, that's a perfect description.
I say it's bell bottom country. It's kind of just my thing. It's how I live. The best way for me to explain bell bottom country would be country with a flair. And I mean, I'm a sucker for throwback things, like whether it's a song or whether it's clothes, whatever it is. I feel like, things that are throwback come with a good story. And I think that's why I love country music so much. And fresh but familiar.
I think that's something that everybody kind of needs right now. Is it just a little bit of comfy, a little bit of familiar? We need some grounding right now.
Absolutely, girl. Something that makes you feel at home.
Yeah, totally. So I want to find out a little bit more about, kind of where that comes from. So let's go back to kind of like the beginning.
Yes.
From what I understand, you wrote your first song at 9. Now, I wrote my first song at 9, but I'm pretty sure it was like about sunshine and rainbows or something. So if I'm not mistaken, you were writing some really different stuff.
Girl, it's so crazy. I guess I've kind of always been somewhat of an old soul. But I mean, at 11, I was writing songs about tequila and cigarettes. So, I mean, it's just like, we didn't have tequila or cigarettes at home, so I have no clue where in the world I got this from. I guess I heard it in
another song or something.
Yeah. I'm like, heard it in other country songs. I thought it was cool. So, yes, you know what? Songwriting for me has really even from a young age, like it was something that I had to do. I wrote my first song, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. This is my thing. So it kind of just really tracked me down, wouldn't let me go. And, I say, even if I wasn't doing this or in this position, that even if I was a school teacher back at home, I'd be still having to write songs.
Oh, that's awesome. So do you play an instrument then, I assume?
I do, yes. I started learning guitar at 11. My daddy plays a little bit by ear and a little bit of piano, and he showed me a few chords on the guitar, and that really did kind of, open up my songwriting and the world of songwriting for me. And I was like, not stopping at that point.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. So you actually were writing songs before you knew how to play an instrument. I feel like that's kind of unique. Like, I know my dad always told me, you can't write any songs until you learn how to play an instrument. So that's why I had to learn how to play guitar. But it definitely helps for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. I just write it a cappella. I mean, I'm not saying they were good, but
that's cool though. That is really
it.
cool. So you come from a family of farmers, and those are hardworking people right there. So is how has that affected you in your music career? Because that's obviously a wildly different department.
And it's so crazy that you say that, because it's a completely different world, but also crazy enough, it's very similar because, my daddy, he farms wheat, corn, soybeans, oats. Mm-hmm. He is the most hardworking person I know, and gets up with the sun, comes in late, but it truly is his livelihood. Like, he gets up and does the same thing every single day, and some years are better than others. I mean, a tornado could roll through and wipe the entire thing away, and really and truly, I feel like the music business is a whole lot like that. It's
100%.
A lot of ups and downs, but if it's your thing, if it's your livelihood, then you have no choice but to get up and do it.
Yeah, and on that, I'm kind of curious, because you were kind of on this trajectory, like you've got this thing going and your music is doing really well and you release this EP and you're touring and all that stuff, and then this pandemic happened. And so how does that feel, kind of like knowing that you were kind of like, you had this plan and then all of a sudden you got to take this other direction, and how did you approach that?
You know what? It's been crazy. I knew from the beginning, though, whenever I even moved to Nashville, I knew that this wasn't going to be easy. Definitely didn't, ever imagine something like a pandemic happen. But
right.
I've always just kind of been the type of person to just like, hold on. I know it's going to be a crazy ride, but at the end of the day, there's no plan B for me. This is it. This is the only thing I know how to do. I love it with every part of me. And, this is it. So the pandemic absolutely threw things for a loop, but not just for me, for everybody. And it's been an interesting time, but I will tell you, I've just tried to keep my head down and really just keep my blinders on, because this too shall pass. And I feel like when we come out on the other side of it, it's going to be better than ever.
Well said. Well said. Okay. Hannah Montana. It's gonna be.
I need to go get my wig.
So you did some Hannah Montana impersonating for a while. How old were you when you were doing this?
Girl, I started doing that in 8th grade, and I did it all the way through being a senior in high school. I would do like 3 or 4 birthday parties a weekend. I mean,
that's a lot.
Girl, I was crushing it. Every now and then they would let me open up for Hannah Montana. Sometimes they'd be like, who is Lainey? We didn't ask her to come to the party. But I'm telling you, like, I did birthday parties, fairs, festivals. The last place I did was St. Jude. And I learned so much. It did also teach me that, like, this was not going to be just this little easy thing that you can do. Like, if you want something, you got to go get it. And I finally hung the wig up. I said, it's time to be myself. So after I graduated high school, I was like, all right, I'm going to be Lainey now.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think, the music industry is just this glamorous thing that they just came out of nowhere. Like, wow, how did this happen? But nobody really sees all that behind the scenes stuff where you're grinding it out and you're figuring out your way and putting in your time, really.
Absolutely, girl. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, this year in August, I'll have been in Nashville for 10 years. And, wow. I mean, it's part of it. I heard it was a 7-year town, and then 7 years passed me up. And then I heard it was a 10-year town, so I'm hoping to right.
That's so funny. So yeah, Nashville, you moved out to Nashville, and was that scary for you, or is it something that you just knew you had to do it?
It's so crazy, but I knew even at 9 years old, like, my family took me on a family vacation to Gatlinburg. And on the way home to Louisiana, I asked my dad if he would just drive through Nashville. And I remember exactly where I was on the interstate. I had this overwhelming feeling, even at 9 years old, that this was home. And I even said it out loud. I said, this is home. And my parents were like, you're 9 years old. Like, what you know?
You don't know what you want.
But it's so crazy. I don't know if I manifested it right then and there or what, but I've always known that I was going to be here. So when I was 19, I bought a bumper pull Flagstaff camper trailer, and I hauled it to Nashville, girl, and I lived in it for the first 3 years I was here.
Oh, 3 years. Wow.
That was it. I was known as the camper trailer girl around town.
Man, I have lived in a rickety old bus myself, and that is not an easy life. It is. It's a lot. Wow. So, okay, just out of curiosity, where were you, like, showering and stuff?
Oh yeah, gotcha. So it did have a shower in it. I mean, my propane didn't last no time. I would have to change my propane tanks every week, and it was a lot of just like getting in there, rinsing off real quick, doing the thing. But
wow,
it was interesting. A lot of good times, a lot of good memories, and everybody wanted to come to the camper to party.
That's funny. Do you miss home?
I miss the people at home. I miss my people. I'm from a town of 300 people, and it's so crazy. I mean, I've always been a little different. I've always kind of been the one that had stars in my eyes. A lot of people from home don't leave home, and that's great. That's their thing. And but I've just always just been a little bit different. But they love me for it. I love going home.
I'm sure they're so proud.
They are proud. They are crazy too. I'll go home for a week. I'll be like, time for me to go home.
You guys are too much.
And they're thinking the same thing about me too. They're like, you need to go back to Nashville.
That's funny. That's sweet. Okay, so let's talk about the songwriting. I see an emphasis, on writing something that's really personal and very, real. Why is that so important to you?
I feel like the songs that spoke to me growing up, or just even now, are the ones where I feel like people just get real, get vulnerable, raw. Even if it's something that kind of makes your skin crawl a little, kind of like, oh my God, I can't believe she just said that. Or because at the end of the day, that's probably how we're all feeling. I just feel like for me, if throughout this entire process, if I can just be 190% myself, I'll be doing good. And so far, the great thing about that is I have been unapologetically myself, and that's what, and people are liking that. And I'm like, well, shoot, this is going to be easy.
That's the best thing you can do, is honestly when you get people to like you for who you actually are, 100%. And I always say that whatever kind of person that you are and you put that out into the atmosphere, those are the kind of people that are going to naturally flock to you, and it just grows like that exponentially.
Absolutely. No, it feels great. It'd take too much energy and effort to be anything but myself. So, agreed.
Well, cool. So you got a full length coming out. It's your first full length album, and that's actually coming out tomorrow, right?
Yes, I'm so excited.
It's probably going to be out by the time this episode goes up, but that's so amazing. Tell us a little bit about the recording process and what that was like for you.
Yeah, so we've been working on this thing for years. I truly have been writing for this thing for years, and this is my first album with a major record company, and, it's kind of been all hands on deck. Everybody has just been digging in and, just working their fingers to the bone, trying to, figure out, make sure this is right. And it's kind of just all come together. Everything feels like it's kind of like, just coming to fruition, all the hard work we've been doing. But I'm so proud of this thing from top to bottom. I'm talking about, every line, syllable, the production, everything. It just feels right. And it's me. It's just honest to my core. And I'm so excited to share it with people and hopefully see a connection and people can truly relate, because that's what it's all about in the end. Is I'm just trying to make sure that people feel like they're not alone. We all want to feel that way.
Absolutely. Yeah. Is what was the decision to make Things a Man Ought to Know your first single?
It was that song that just kind of kept organically raising its hand. It was that song that people just continued to talk about. The streaming was out of the roof on that one, and it's so cool too that this kind of gets to be really setting the foundation for me, because I truly believe every single word in that song. That's how I was raised. It's not necessarily about whether you can change a flat tire. Great if you can. It's about having good character, and it's really the bottom line. It's the golden rule, treating people the way that you want to be treated, and that's something that we all need to know, not just a man.
Yeah, I love that. I know it's kind of hard to do this because they're all your little babies and children, but do you happen to have a favorite on the album?
It changes every day.
Yeah.
It does. But today, I would say maybe Keeping Bars in Business. I'm gravitating towards that one right now. And the crazy thing is, with the exception of 2020, nobody's keeping bars in business then. No. But
that's what I was thinking. I was like, man, you're going to bring it back with this song. Here we go.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. No, it's one of those songs about, being in a certain place in life. And actually the day that I wrote the song, I was struggling with something. But I really got to thinking about how, even though I was going through things in life, there's somebody right down the road who is having the best day of their entire life. Maybe they're getting married, or maybe they're, celebrating, graduating college, whatever it is. But I think those are the things that keep the world turning and keep the world spinning. And that's the beauty of all of it. So whether you're celebrating or your heart's breaking, we all just keeping bars in business.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is really cool. So you had some songs in the TV show Yellowstone. What was that like for you?
You know, you move to town and you dream about people singing your songs or, you know, your song making it on the radio, but never in a million years do you think your music might make it onto one of the most popular, my most favorite show. I mean, those cowboys are not hard to look at, you know. Come on.
Love it.
But it's been so cool. Taylor Sheridan, the producer and writer of the show, he's been so good to me and so supportive and truly just loves me and believes in me. And yeah, I've had 3 songs in there so far. Hopefully we'll get some more. We'll see what happens. But just in general, I'm just a huge fan of the show, and it's pretty cool to be a small part of something so huge.
That is really cool. All right. Well, Saying What I'm Thinking coming out. It should already be out probably by the time this is out. So tell us, where can people find you? Where can people find your music? And tell us what you got going on in the future.
Yes, so you can find me on social media at Lainey Wilson Music on Instagram. Lainey Wilson, it's Lainey. I'm on TikTok. I'm crazy on TikTok. You're going to go check that out. You can find my music anywhere you can find music. My website's LaineyWilson.com. And I'm looking forward to getting this music out there and just connecting with people. I'm so ready for live shows, and I know we're getting there. But
awesome.
That's going to be in the near future.
Well, I am so excited. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you, girl. This is fun.
Yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see more videos just like this.